Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see so many of you here. My name is Cornelia Putze. I am from Switch in Switzerland, and I'm working for the GÉANT project. And it's really great to see so many of you for our second webinar out of the 4 webinars that we've programmed for this year's Cybersecurity Month campaign. And we're focusing on social engineering, and our tagline is "Your brain is the first line of defense." Now, for those of you who are not so familiar with GÉANT, let me just give you a very short background. GÉANT is the collaboration of European national research and education networks, or we call them NRENs. It operates a pan-European e-infrastructure, the GÉANT network. It delivers a portfolio of services for research and education. It runs a membership association for Europe's national research and education networks, which is called the GÉANT Association. And finally, GÉANT works to advance research, education, and innovation also on a global scale. Now, along with the free webinars, the 4 that we're providing this year, our Cybersecurity Month campaign also includes new materials. We have a series of 4 videos. You've probably seen them already on social media and the GÉANT website. They are about the investigator Jake Doubt. Do have a look. They're all about social engineering. We also share short videos with tips and tricks by experts from the international research and education organizations, and in-depth interviews with the community, blog articles, and much more. So I do encourage you to take a look at the Connect website, and we'll be sharing the link in the chat. So as I said before, this year is really all about social engineering, and we are aiming to encourage users to think critically and remain vigilant, enabling them to stay one step ahead of cyber criminals. Now, let me now introduce our guest speaker today. We're very happy to have Professor Dr. Kristin Weber here. She's the Vice President for Digitalization and CIO at the Technical University Würzburg-Schweinfurt. And she's not only a professor at the Faculty of Computer Science and Information Systems, she researches, teaches about the human factor in information security. She's also an author, a great speaker, and a consultant for security awareness, ISMS, data governance, and data quality management. And I think this will be particularly interesting to all our listeners from the education communities. She served as an information security officer for her university from 2017 until this year. So today she will tell you a few things about how social engineers work and how you can best inform people about it. So I'm excited to hear Kristin talk about how to sell a fridge to a penguin or make people fall for a phishing email. At the end of the webinar, we have time for some questions, so don't hesitate to put your questions either straight into the chat or save them for later. Kristin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Cornelia. Thank you for this nice introduction, and I'm very, very happy to be here. And I also like your initiative, the Cybersecurity Month with special topics, social engineering. That's really great, very important, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. So yeah, thank you for having me. And you also spared me one slide introducing myself, so that has been already done. Perfect. So that we can start. So I hope you see the correct slides. I don't see it actually.
All good, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Good. Yeah.
Zoom doesn't really work.
I can see a penguin.
All right, I see my penguin, right? All right, good. Yeah, I want to talk about social engineering, and especially about tricks that social engineers use to make us fall for phishing email. And the nice thing is that you, if you know about those tricks, you can use them also to sell a fridge to a penguin, or to a penguin, or to sell something else. So actually the tricks, nothing new. They are used every day with millions of people all over the world. Not specifically used in social engineering, but in social engineering, they can get dangerous for us if we fall for those tricks. So yeah, here you have another nice picture of myself. Cornelia already told everything you need to know about myself. If you're interested in my publications about information security, especially security awareness and also social engineering, you might go to ResearchGate and see some of those publications. Yeah, I would like to start with some typical phishing emails. Actually, I like to collect phishing emails. I have a big collection by now, so typically 2 times, 3 times a month, I get a phishing email, and I like to collect them. And well, the question for today is, why do we fall for those phishing emails? For now, I just like to show you. The first one is a typical Teams notification. As we don't use Teams in our university, I know this is phishing and not for real. Here was more sophisticated phishing email was directed to our faculty staff. You see here THWS, and FIW is the abbreviation of our faculty information. It's actually Informatik and Wirtschaftsinformatik, so computer science and information systems. And the recipients of that email were actually professors of our faculty. And this one, yeah, is just a very basic one where you get promised to help someone or get a donation of £2 million. So yeah. So just that's what we are talking about, and we want to talk about today. Why do we fall for these phishing emails? Maybe not all of us, but sometimes it's enough if 1%, 0.5% of people click on the links provided here, or open some attachment, and the social engineers, they yeah, reach their goal. Okay, so first I would like to give an introduction why and how social engineers use psychological tricks in their attacks. And then I will show you the tricks or the principles, some psychological principles in more detail. And then at the end, we have some summary. Okay, as I said, social engineering is nothing specifically used in cybercrime. It's a thing we more or less all of us do, and some more than others, and we see it in our everyday life. So, for example, kids are the perfect social engineers. They know how to manipulate you as a parent. So they just look nice with their big eyes, and well, you're lost. You provide you grant them whatever they want because they know how to manipulate you and how to get you to do what they actually want. But there are a lot of other people that use social engineering tricks all the way. For example, lawyers or doctors, they want to get out information from you, information you might not be so happy to share because they maybe embarrass you, maybe you did something wrong, you don't want to tell them, but they know how to get this information out of you. And usually it's in your best interest. Especially doctors, they want you to take a certain medication maybe, so they somehow convince you, manipulate you to take this medication. They know how to do it. Also, like interview partners, interviewers, they know how to ask questions to get the right information out of an interview partner. They are trained in asking questions the right way to get the answers they want. And also, well, this picture is my picture for a salesperson. So a salesperson, he or she, they also know how to manipulate you and to get something, to get you something, to buy something that they want and maybe not you want. So maybe to buy the car that's actually too expensive for you, or a suit. that you didn't really like, but they are able to convince you that it looks good on you. And well, so they use kind of techniques to convince you to do this. So, and that's we see, as I said, in everyday life, nothing new for social engineering, nor for information security or cybercrime. It's used everywhere. And my favorite definition of social engineering is the one from Hadnat, who wrote a lot of books about it. I'll show you one or two in the end. He said that social engineering is any act that influences a person to take an action that may or may not be in his or her best interests. So, as I said, you can also use those techniques and tricks to a better end to yes, still influence or manipulate people, but for their best. So maybe to, well, just get new friends maybe, or yeah, get someone to take the right medicine, or well, be healthier. Like if you convince your kids to eat healthy food and not the junk ones, for example. So it's, well, tricks, psychological tricks that we use to influence others to do something they maybe not want. When we go to cybercrime or cybercriminals or information security, then of course social engineering is well, on the bad side of social engineering. The cybercriminals use those tricks to manipulate to do something that's not in your and not your company's organizational best interest. And also one of my favorite sayings is from Kevin Mitnick, who unfortunately died last year. And he was a very famous, well, social engineer, but on the good side. He tried to teach and educate people on social engineering tricks and to get organizations safe when showing those tricks. And he said, a long time ago, he said, cracking the human firewall is often easy, requires no investment beyond the cost of a phone call, and it involves minimal risk. And that tells you why social engineering is so it's used a lot in cyber crimes, because if you know the tricks and you're good in working with people together, you're an open person, you know how to read people, then it's very easy to manipulate them, and it's really involves not a lot of risk. You don't have to have a lot of technical background. You just write a phishing email and makes it look very good, and it convinces you to click on the link. So that's why it's done so often nowadays, because it's so easy. So what do we do, or what do the social engineers do with those tricks? Why do we do it? Well, they want you to do something that is in their favor and not in yours. So they want to get you to disclose some information, some confidential information, for example, your password, your login credentials, your bank number. They want you to grant access or admittance to a building, so they try to get you to open a door maybe, or just to let them in the building or on a company premises. Or they want you to install some malware on your computer by clicking on a link in a phishing email, or by using infected USB drive maybe. So that's very typical. Or they want you to circumvent some security measures. So it's much easier to manipulate you to do this than they have to do by themselves with technical means. Or of course, often they want you to give them money, to transfer money to their bank accounts, and not where you actually wanted to maybe transfer that money to. So, and they know, they're usually good in psychology, and they know the tricks, and they know how to use human vulnerabilities to their advantage. I don't actually like to call it vulnerabilities, because the tricks I am about to show you, they are beneficial for us as humans, and they prove to be beneficial. They evolved during the evolution, and they prove to be advantages they prove advantages for us. So actually they're quite good, and they lead us to survive as the human race. So they're actually good, but of course they can be misused for other causes. So having said that, I would like to introduce the 5 psychological tricks that are usually used by social engineers. So the first trick is called authority, and I just will very, very shortly go over the 5 tricks, and then we will look at each of those tricks in more detail. So the first one is called authority, and it means that if someone thinks that you are an authority, they are more likely to follow your requests. So like a police officer or like some teacher, parent, professor. So people that might be an authority, it's more likely that you follow requests from those people. The second is called social proof, and social proof means that you are more likely to do something that others already did. So if you whole lot of people and all of them going in the right direction to the right, sorry, it's to the left. Then it's more typically you also will follow that. So if something is good for a lot of people, then you think it's good for you too. The third one is called liking, similarity, and deception. And the third principle means that you are more likely to follow requests from people that you like or that are similar to you. So means if I meet maybe another professor, maybe also from computer science, then I'm more likely to do what he or she asks. So if the social engineer convince you that they are like you, then it's more easily to do what they ask. The fourth one is called commitment, reciprocation, and consistency. That's a quite complicated one, and it's actually it's 3 principles in one. But it means, for example, that if someone gives you a present, you somehow feel socially obliged to give that person something back. So if someone just gives you a present, then it's more likely that you will also give that person something, and that something might be also information, your password maybe. And the last one is called distraction, and here is also a lot of principles in one. If social engineers distract you from what they actually want you to do, then it's easier that you follow their request. So they might distract you with curiosity, for example, or with greed. And then you only see, oh, I can win 2 million euros. So maybe I do this, and you don't actually recognize that you register to a false website. So these are the 5 tricks. Before I explain them in more detail, each and everything with a lot of examples, I would like to tell you why they work. First thing I said, they prove to be beneficial for us as a human race in the earlier times. So, for example, authority. So, if you think back the times when we were nomads and didn't have houses and so on, and it was very good for us to have one leader, and the one leader said what to do and where to go, and not everybody had to think what to do next. And as a group, we were working very good together in killing a mammoth or something. So that was really bad. So it was a really good a good thing to follow just one leader, and so that's why we used to that, and all the other things as well. So social proof. So we try to fit in a larger group of people, and that's good for us as a human race. So And it works for us because it's easier for us to follow those tricks, to follow those paths, because we don't have to actively think about so much. We can't think the whole day about what to do and what not to do. We do a lot of things just automatically. And that's those 5 principles. It's just automatic doing. We don't have to think about it. And Nobel Prize winner Kahneman, he wrote in his book, Thinking Fast or Slow, he wrote about those 2 systems. And he said that we think in 2 systems. One is system 1 and the other is system 2. And system 1 is this automatic thinking. It's fast, it's without conscious control, it's just automatic doing. We don't actively think about what we do, we just do. We do. And all those tricks, they trigger system 1 thinking. They get us to automatically do things and not consciously think about them. And the second system, we do not use that often because it's really, it involves a lot of effort for our brain. And it costs a lot of energy. We need to concentrate. We need to consciously think about things. So system 1 thinking is maybe, if I ask you what is 1 + 1, then you know, okay, it's 2. System 2 might be something like the, 563,000 times 11 or something. You really have to actively think about to get this quotation. Right. So we typically think in those 2 systems, and what the social engineers do is to get us thinking in system 1, so active, not active, but automatically, actually not really thinking, just doing. So, okay. So let's have a look at the principles in detail. So, and the first one was the authority principle. If we go back to the penguin, it would be just like, well, I'm the boss here, I'm the authority figure, and you do as I ask, you buy this fridge. So I tell you to buy this fridge, so you buy this fridge. Authority principle means, yeah, we as humans, we are trained not to question authorities. That's how we work usually. So if someone is an authority, we do more or less what this person wants from us. And as I said, there are a lot of authorities, could be like the parents, like teachers, like police officers, like banks, sometimes also companies like Amazon or Google work as authorities, because also celebrities, they also work like authorities. So if there's a celebrity like maybe Taylor Swift, who has a lot of followers and fans, and if she would tell this or that, then people might just do it without really thinking. So authority you find in different places nowadays, not only like police officers, but really something you look up to. And you can also fake this authority, and that's what social engineers usually do. They fake the authority with, for example, titles. You also see this a lot in advertisements, usually for health products. Then there's the professor, doctor something, telling you how good this medicine works. So if you use titles or logos, or you just claim to know someone who is a celebrity, then it also works. And of course, you can do it with clothing, with uniforms, for example, with status symbols like a big car or a big watch, or expensive suit or something. That also works. There's one experiment written in one of the books I will show you later, where a person crosses the street, and the person is on the first part of the experiment is just dressed normally, or maybe a bit shabby, so like someone living on the street actually. So, and this person crosses the street when the traffic light is red. And once that happened, he crossed the street and nothing else happened. In the second part of the experiment, the same person, the same man, is dressed nicely with a suit and a suitcase and a good haircut. Traffic light is red, and a lot of people follow him. So if he crosses the street, people think, well, might be okay to cross the street with red light, and they follow him. So that shows how the authority principle works. In social engineering, it's often used in CEO fraud. So if you get an email that seems to be from someone from senior management, from the company management, asks you for an urgent favor, then this uses the CEO principle. And it's in phishing, it's used a lot in pretexting. Pretexting means that you think about a story and you use this story to get what you want. If you want to get into a building and you claim to be, well, the CEO, CIO of this and that important company, and you are an important customer, whatever, and you want to enter this building. So that might be some story that you use as a pretext. One also famous example from the reality, which was shown in a movie, you can see here. So this is Catch Me If You Can. And here also this principle works. It's also distraction a bit because of all the nice ladies. But in the end, this, I think, 16-year-old boy is dressed like a pilot. And he definitely looks like a pilot. He has uniform. He has everything that needs to be. And so it works. People think he is an authority, thinks he is a pilot. And they don't think that this could be a fraudster. Here's another example of an actual social engineering attack from the cryptocurrency community a couple of years ago, where also this authority principle was used. Here in this case, the fraudsters copied Elon Musk's Twitter account, the X account, and they pretended to give away 5,000 Ether, so this cryptocurrency, to the followers. And to get some of those crypto coins, you just had to send upfront 0.5 to 1 Ether, to get 5 or 10 in return. And it definitely worked. So people thought, that's the Elon Musk and he's trustworthy. So I just sent him one half or 1 Ether, and then I hope to get a lot of Ether back, which of course didn't happen. Just 2 other examples. Sorry for the right one. It's in German. Usually I get phishing emails only in German, so most examples are unfortunately in German, and then the left one is in English. So, but the right one is a very typical one. It's a German bank, and the German bank tells you have to go to your account. There was some suspicious activity or whatever. You have to click on the link to get this done. And that's also using authority principle. Banks usually work as authority. And the left one is an example from a CEO fraud, also from our university. That was sent to our head of international. No, actually, it should be sent from the head of our international office to one of his or her colleagues. With some requests, so to call him back. So here also authority was used. And I don't know actually whether he uses his doctor title normally in communications, but here it was used also to claim this authority thing. All right. Second principle. Second principle is social proof. And social proof, if you want to sell the fridge to the penguin, would be something like that. All your best buddies already bought a fridge, so please also buy a fridge. It must be something very good. If all your friends already have a fridge, it must be something you definitely need as well. So social proof means that we try to mimic the behavior of others. So what others do should be good, seems to be good for us as well. We don't have to actively think what we are doing, and we just copy what the others do. I always see it in university lectures, especially first semester. First time you get in a lecture hall, you might be overwhelmed how big it is and what to actually do. You're new to university. well, if all the people sit in the back of the lecture hall, you will not go to the front of the lecture hall. You also try to find a seat in the back. And if all the people sit there with their smartphones out or their laptops out, well, what will you do? Of course, you also take your laptop out or your smartphone and try just to fit in what the others do. It seems to be the correct behavior in this situation, so that's what you do as well. Social proof also has a lot of, or it can have a very bad, very bad impact. So for example, if some accident happen or someone gets harmed in public and a lot of people see that this happens and nobody really takes the first step of getting in the way of the attacker, then it happens that nobody really do something. We see this a lot. Because all the others are not doing anything in the situation, then you think, okay, strange situation. Well, I don't interrupt because it seems to be maybe normal. I don't know. But nobody really goes the first step in interrupting and disturbing in the situation, then, well, it might be that nobody is really doing something against. So yeah, how can we use this principle? What methods, instrument can be used? So for example, ratings, recommendations, references. Yeah, with fake social media profiles with a lot of followers. So if a profile with a lot of followers, you think, oh, this person might be well, it might be worth to follow this person because a lot of other persons already followed that person. Yeah, so I show you an example, not from social engineering, but how this is used to sell things. Just took an example, Amazon example for a fridge I found yesterday. And here you see some social proof techniques. The first one here is the star rating. It has 4 out of 5 stars. That seems to be quite okay. Then you see, it has been rated by a lot of people, 1,200 people already rated and means bought this fridge, so it might be a good one. You see here that already only in the past month it has been bought more than 200 times. So this is really a lot of proof that it's obviously a good fridge. All the other people like it. We have 2 other things used here. This Amazon choice. This is more related to the authority principle. So if Amazon specifically selected this fridge, it must be a good one. And we have another one here. You have the normal price is crossed out and you have a lower price. This is also distraction. We will see later. So you distract the people from, well, how actually still maybe expensive this fridge is. So yeah, two social engineering examples. How it is used. So for example, in phishing, if you get an email written by a social engineer, and in this email it's written that other individuals like friends or colleagues already did the same thing. So for example, you invite someone to, well, go to website to like that website or to download something, and you tell them, oh, the other colleagues of yours already have done this. Maybe you even drop some names of them, which you of course found in the internet before. And then it's more likely that you think, oh, that might be a valid request. Yeah, what we already said is if you have a fake website, for example, for an antivirus application, and you put a lot of effort in that and good reviews and so on, or like we just saw with the Amazon example, a lot of stars and a lot of people like this antivirus application, which actually is a malware, so it's more likely that you will maybe download this malware as well because you're convinced that others rated it as a good application. Oh, here also something I found on the internet, you probably already know, which also uses the social proof principle. So Sean put up this password change sign seed, and if you would do this and like entering 2 or 3 lines up front, then the others might follow, because maybe nobody would enter the first line because maybe then they're suspicious. But if you already like entered 3 lines, then maybe more people will follow and entering their password here in this sheet. Okay, third principle is liking, similarity, and deception. And to sell a fridge to a penguin would be working like that. You make a compliment to the penguin, something like, "Oh, you look so beautiful today. Do you want to buy a fridge?" So you make that other person, penguin, to like you, and to, yeah, just to like you, to be maybe attractive to that person. And then it's more likely that the other one will follow your request. So you're more likely to follow requests from friends, from people who are like you, who are similar to you. And it's very easy actually to create this sense of liking and especially of similarity. It could be something like that you studied at the same place, that you have the same hometown, that you have the same profession, something that you like the same spots for vacation, or that you visited the same place a couple of weeks ago, or that you've been to the same conference, or well, that you like the same clothes or movies or whatever. So it's actually very easy to create this feeling of someone is like me, and that is misused by social engineers. So they give compliments, or they claim to be to have shared interests, which is again easy to find out when you go online and research your victim upfront. You will find out a lot about this person, and then you can misuse this to claim to be similar to that person. Yeah, so let me show you some examples. Yeah, here it could be a setting like this. Social engineers start talking with you. Maybe they meet you at a conference, and they tell you that they used to work for the same company maybe, or they used to be at the same music concert, same restaurant, and so on. And then later when talking, they ask you about something like, can you download this file for me? Or can you print this out for me? Or, well, I can't access the internet. Maybe can I use your phone or whatever? So a very small request. And well, if the social engineer did a good job, then you will like him. And it's much more easier to follow this request after talking about for half an hour with this person, as if it would have been a total stranger. Or here also again, sorry, in German, like some smishing examples. They're more or less the same. I try to translate in the upper part of the slide. So the typical smishing, so SMS means, hey, Dad, I lost my phone, or my phone has been broken. I have a new number. Can you write me a message to the new number? Yeah, have a nice day. And there are even a lot of spelling mistakes, as it is typical for youths. So it's not really 100% correctly spelled. So yeah, and of course you like your kids, and how could you not answer the requests from your kids? It's also a bit distraction because you want to help your kids, of course, but it's also disliking. So you're more easily to follow these requests when you think it's come from someone you know, someone you like. Okay, number 4 is the commitment, reciprocation, consistency principle. That's a very complicated one, and it's actually 3 in 1. The reciprocation means that we are somehow socially obliged to repay favors. So if your penguin gives you a fish as a present, then you're more likely to do him or her a favor, and in this case buy a fridge. yeah, that works in social engineering as well. There are some very good experiments on that as well, where the researchers, they interviewed people and they gave chocolate to the interviewers, to the interviewees, and they gave the chocolate in the beginning of the interview or in the middle of the interview, at the end of the interview, and the people in the middle of the interviews, and they were asked right after the chocolate, they gave the chocolate, they were asked to disclose one of their passwords. And a lot of them did. I think it was more than 40% of people gave one of their passwords in that interview just due to one piece of chocolate. So he gave a chocolate, and to give something back, they gave some information, in this case, the password. So that's a reciprocation. Commitment and consistency is a bit different, actually. So it's more in ourselves. So once we committed ourselves to do something, we usually follow through. So for example, I did this myself. When I wanted to buy a new car, I saw this new car and I really liked it, and I made allowed to drive it. And well, I was already committed somehow to this car. And in the end, it was much more expensive than I expected it to be. But still, I was committed already. And well, I also paid the higher price, because I was committed. So we commit to a specific action or decision, we tend to follow through. And that sometimes is very easy to achieve. So something, if you walk to the street and someone asks you like, oh, hello, how are you today? Do you have a nice day? Or do you like kids? Do you like pets? And then they want to sell you something. They want to sell, or they want you to give them money for something. But already with the first questions, if you answer yes, you're already committed to a yes, and then you will follow through to yes, and then you will probably more or less give them money. It's very hard to step back from that. So you feel somehow obliged to go through and follow through and stay with the yes and not say no to them. So and consistency is the same direction. So you tend to be consistent with your earlier decisions. So once you decide in typical direction, then you see this in interviews also. Once you decided to answer questions, then you're more likely to answer following questions. That could be used in social engineering by just giving favors, just doing favors that you didn't ask for, but you get a gift or some information, maybe something about the weather tomorrow or something that you didn't know, and you feel somehow obliged to give something back. Here's some example, not social engineering, but again from the sales industry. If you see those free trials that you get, or membership or whatever, and so this is using the commitment principle. So you get a free trial, 30 days trial. And after this trial, you're somehow committed. Maybe you like that. You're somehow committed. It's very hard to cancel such a membership after you get used to it, you liked it. So that's how this principle works in sales again. Or here again, some social engineering examples with piece of chocolate I already told you, or some small gift like a Coke, something, and you feel obliged to give something back, maybe your password. And it's already also said. So if social engineers get you to somehow react to their response, maybe you get a phishing email, or like the one we saw earlier, the CEO fraud, where you should write back because your boss asks you a question or a favor. And once you write back, it's more probable that you write second, third, fourth time back because you somehow committed to answer and you committed yourself to see this as a legit request and not as something that is fraud. So to be consistent with your earlier decisions, you follow through. Yeah, that's also an example here from the beginning of the Corona pandemic. It's a phishing email, and here we also see this reciprocation and commitment principle used. Commitment means it's a very long email, actually. Once I already read this long email, I'm somehow committed to continue do something with it. It's not so easy to delete it from that on because I read it, maybe read it correctly. And also this guy or woman, I don't know, who seemed to wrote this email. He or she gives a lot of information about himself or herself, how to bad shape he or she is and whatever. So you somehow feel obliged to give something back. So it's more likely that you follow this request. Okay, and the last one, the fifth principle, is the distraction principle. It's a very huge principle, and it's usually used in connection with the others. So all the others usually have some kind of distraction in that. In this case, in the pendulum case would be like someone who's really hungry and really needs your help. And yeah, he's really helpless, and in order to help him or her, you should buy the fridge. So he distracts you from actually this fridge buying because you want to help this small little penguin. Yeah, and here we definitely saw this system 1, system 2 thinking, because this distraction, they always get you into system 1. And distraction can have many, many phases. This could be like helpless, triggering helpfulness. It could trigger greed. It could trigger fear, pressure, desires, longings. What did I miss? Curiosity, also scarcity. All those things could distract you from the actual thing. So if you think something is scarce, like in limited offers, or even you want to help, or there's a possibility that you can win a lot of money, then it triggers greed rather. So it's easy, and also desires and longings can be easily triggered if you know a bit about a person, again, by finding out in an internet search. You might know what they like. Maybe they want to have some tickets for a specific concert or access to a restaurant or whatever. And if you offer just that to them, then it's more likely that they fall for a phishing email. You just have to know where to trigger, how to trigger the persons. A very famous example is the Nigerian scam. That's the one where the Nigerian prince has a lot of money and don't know what to do with it, and you need to help him to get this money out of the country or something like that. So, and as a favor, you get some of that money for you. So that, yeah. Also, like in fake competitions and so on. Again, sorry, I have an example from a German website. It's a company. How's it called? They sell cosmetics and so on. And here you can take part in a lot of raffles. But only if you register upfront. So you have to register, you give them your name and address and whatever else they want to have, a mobile phone number. And once you're registered, you are able to participate in this raffle. So this is a typical distraction thing. You want to see the prizes, you want to win one of the prizes, and you get freely away your personal data. Nigerian scam, I already told you, so this it's probably known by you. Two other examples, typical phishing again on the right side. So you just have won 2.5 million euro, super, and you just have to contact them to get this money. This one is a very nice example. It was an advertisement from 2014 from the ENISA. ENISA is I think it's one of the biggest European security trade fairs in Nuremberg. I think it's in 2 weeks in Nuremberg again, October. And they a couple of years ago they sent out this card, this postcard, as their advertisement for this trade fair. And well, it distracted you, of course. Even it says there's a virus on that USB drive. I didn't use it, didn't try to find out, but I like the marketing idea. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Coming back to the beginning, I showed you the 3 phishing examples, and now, of course, you know what kind of principle was used in here. It's actually the same in all of them. It's the distraction principle. So here in the first one, it was like the urgency. So urgent, there are people waiting for you. So please, maybe it's also a bit authority, but especially urgency. Here we have this curiosity. So you want to know what's behind the link. What did this professor do? And the third one is not working. Yeah, it is. The third one was again this, you get some money. So it's greed that is used in that example. Okay, to summarize, also to get to the point, how this information helps you to prevent social engineering. Well, it doesn't actually prevent it, but it helps you to recognize it. So if you recognize some of those tricks, you will, well, that's actually the trick already. You recognize it and then you automatically go to system 2. You're out of system 1. It's not automatically doing things because you recognize, that's maybe a trick that they used. Something is too good to be true. So it might be a social engineering trick. So that's actually the solution. You need to get out of this fast automatic thinking and getting into your system 2 thinking consciously about what happens. So if something is just too good to be true, it's well, it's too urgent, and they really try to get you to not think straight, then you should be step back and say, okay, something's wrong here. I need to think about, is this really true? And then you're in the system 2 thinking, and then all the awareness measures that you know and how, yeah, they will work, and you will recognize the trick usually. Okay, that's from the content part. I have two marketing slides. I'm sorry for that. The first thing is for all the German speaking. I actually wrote a book this year, or wrote it last year, was published this year, on social engineering, for example, but also on security awareness. So if you're interested in security awareness and social engineering, a lot of more examples, and I know Cornelia is a big fan of this book. So, and there are other fans as well. So I got a lot of good feedback on that. So if you're interested, it's not that expensive, also in an online version of that. So I would be happy if I can share some of my insights with you besides this webinar. And also German, we are doing also cybersecurity courses, both for our students, but also for practitioners. This will start in the next semester. I think in February, we'll start with this lectures. So if you're interested in learning more about cybersecurity, human factor in cybersecurity, but also about offensive, defensive security and information security management, you can also, we're very happy to welcome you there, but it's also in German. Okay, and I promised some books. That's the most important ones, starting at the right, the Daniel Kahneman book, Thinking Fast and Slow. Then we have Cialdini's Psychology of Persuasion, very good book, very nice to read, with a lot of tricks and how they are used in sales, but in everyday life. And then 2 books on social engineer from Chris Hartnett and from Kevin Mitnick, who tell you also how and where those tricks work. So that's it from me. Thanks a lot for listening, and I hope we have some time left for some questions.
Great, thank you very much. I think we do have some time left. I mean, 2 minutes. Everyone who has to leave, of course, you can leave. I do have one question in the chat, which is basically from Yara asking what strategies can we implement to effectively leverage social engineering in our favor?
Very nice question. Actually, that's a question I have on my list for research. Yeah, actually, I'm looking for students who are working on this question in the bachelor thesis also, because I like the idea to use these techniques in awareness measures. Yeah, and what we do, for example, at our university, it doesn't really work well, but what we do is convince people that other people implemented a certain security measures. For example, the use of certificates for emails is voluntarily in our university, so you don't have to have a certificate, but of course we want people to have a certificate to be able to sign their emails and to encrypt their emails. And we publish in the internet a percentage of people who already implemented the certificates in order to trigger the other to do as they do. It doesn't really work so far because you have to have like a 70-80% figure to trigger the others to follow that. And so far we're not with that much, but that's one thing as you can do the social proof thing. So it really convince someone that all the others in the organization are doing the same good thing. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Are there any more questions? I don't see any more in the chat, so maybe you have some now. No.
All right. Everything's clear, probably.
Yeah, we just have a comment on the more technical side. Well, I just wanted to thank you a lot, and also for those of you who have seen the videos, the Jake Doubt animated videos of this year's campaign. You might have noticed that we have obviously used these compliance principles of these that are used in social engineering to design the videos. You can use them for your own campaigns, and I just thought I end with a little quiz to see how much you were listening. And obviously it only works if you've seen the episode. So for those of you who've seen the episode 1 and 2, episode 1 was called A Strange Request. Those of you who've seen it, I posted it also on the chat. Do you remember what it was about? It was basically, well, no, I can't tell you. Do you remember what principle it was that was used? Let's see if someone knows. What did the social engineers do? People are leaving. Authority, yay, Carolina, yeah, well done. You watched the video.
I didn't know the videos yet, but I have to.
Yeah, I'll share them with you. Yeah, exactly. It was authority. It was the dean saying, "Pay me the money. Transfer the money now." A very classic phishing scam, or a scam with a voice fake voicemail. And the second one, who remembers? It was the episode was called or is called Beware of Love at First Click. Which principle? Well, probably several principles were used there. What did the social engineers, what did the criminals do to try and get information out of the IT admin? We don't have anyone in the chat. Well, looking at the time, I would like to very much Thank you again, Kristin. And I would also like to announce, we don't have that in the we don't have it in the chat yet. I would also like to announce a workshop for the security awareness community that we'll be doing in November. Do we have the link yet, Leonardo? And we will open the registration. Here it is. The registration is opening today. It's a workshop where it's really for people who do security awareness, who run programs or who want to learn more about it. And it's not a webinar like this one, but it's really active. We have a keynote again by Kristin, talking about different behaviors. And then afterwards, we'll go into breakout sessions. And at the very end, we have a short example of a really good awareness, security awareness campaign and efforts by a Dutch university, I believe. And I think that's it from my side. Any final thoughts, Kristin?
No, I just thank you for having me once again. It was really nice to talk to so many interested people. It's not always like that in university. So people are not always voluntarily there. So I always enjoy doing things like that with talking to the people who are actually interested. Yeah, and again, I like your Cybersecurity Month campaign. So it's really nice being a part of that.
Well, thank you. And with that, I wish you all a very good afternoon. And do check out all the other links that Leonardo sent about the past webinar and the upcoming webinars. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Cornelia. And Leonardo, of course. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.